Hey everyone, welcome to Smash and Grab Comics. I'm having too much fun. This is the self-proclaimed king of comics, and sitting at the table from me is America's heartthrob, TR Risk.
What?
And the bad boy of comics, JP Jones on Zoom.
I fucking hate comics.
Nice.
Welcome
Welcome to the show. This is a comic book review show. We're here to make your night. So, what's been going on in comics this week? Any news?
I'm sure.
Yeah. I heard that Venom number 200, so in the legacy numbering of Venom, 200's coming up.
Right.
It's going to be Donny Cates.
200 is coming up, yeah.
Donny Cates' last issue with Venom. It's kind of a big deal.
God.
Thank God. Why do you say that, JP?
It's because it's time for him to move on to something different.
Because I agree, it's getting stale.
Yeah.
But there was a point you said you wouldn't read Venom anymore if it wasn't Donny Cates.
Yeah, I'm not going to read Venom anymore.
Yeah.
Just at all?
Not if Donny Cates is leaving, so.
Have you guys heard what he's going to?
No, honestly, I think he's going to do a Spider-Man book.
Oh, that would be cool. He's got...
That'll make me read a Spider-Man book, which I haven't done in a long time.
Put him on Amazing Spider-Man. I mean, not that Nick something or another. He's
Nick Spencer, I think.
Spencer, yeah. Not that he's done a terrible job, but because I've been reading Spider-Man for a decade. But if Donny Cates got that title, the main Spider-Man title, that would be pretty sweet.
Well, he's hinted at it for like a year now because he did like a picture in front of Spider-Man on the wall at Marvel and was like, I think it was like coming soon or something like that. So
yeah.
So I think he might be working on that. That would be pretty cool for him. That'd be the next step, I think, the next logical step for him. And I mean, his run on Venom was great. It really revolutionized the character, made it a household name again. Not that he wasn't, but he wasn't a relevant character to the Marvel universe. Like he had pocket fandom. You know what I mean?
He was relevant to the Spider-Man universe. Now Venom is really a force among the entire Marvel universe and beyond.
Right. Very big mainstay, and he made it front line. Like Venom is like a must-read comic. So,
yeah, Venom for the most part has been Spider-Man free, the series.
That is true.
You know,
and I really haven't missed having Peter Parker around.
No, and that's kind of a new thing. Venom's obsession has always been towards Peter Parker, and so with Donny Cates' run of it not being about that, but about Eddie trying to be a real a stand-up dude and trying to change his symbiote, for the better.
Yeah.
And then all this Dylan Brock stuff. I really like how this is all going, but I am getting bored. I'm going to keep reading Venom, at least for a little bit,
future,
just to see, what shakes out after Donny, departs.
Sure.
I guess it just depends for me. I might trickle off and read a few, but I don't know.
I've become such a Marvel fanboy though, so
yeah. See, and that's where
you've dropped off.
I have dropped off from both Marvel and DC.
Yeah,
I am.
Yeah,
at this point.
Dropped off from DC.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, DC is like almost nothing for me.
Yeah.
Maybe a Black Label book, but
yeah. That's it. I look for some of the Black Label books, and even those, I'm not reading them.
But once again, comic book fandom is cyclical because JP, when we started 4 years ago now, we were almost exclusively talking about independent books. Then literally with Donny Cates' move from going from God Country to Venom was the thing that shifted our attention. Oh, let's look at mainstream comics again. That's been a couple of years. And now we're seeing a shift in what all three of us are interested in, which brings us to tonight. There's not one mainstream book on the docket. What do you guys want to start with? Maniac of New York? Boom.
I mean, that's the best book this week. I'll fist fight anybody who says different.
Yeah. We have some opposing views here then, JP.
That's cool.
Okay, So let's start with that. Right off the back, Maniac of New York starts in 2016, New Year's Eve. There is a mass murder in Times Square.
Yeah, like this massive Like
70 some people.
Yeah,
How-
but it's just one
It's
dude.
one person.
And there are
big
four
event,
cops, 4 armed cops who get murdered as part of this.
Yep. So we don't know any of the details though. It's just they're completely mangled, and the comic book shows some of them with, all of them with slashed throats, and then the character looks like a little bit like Jason Voorhees, right? It's got a white mask, but very bloody. We don't know who it is. They start calling this serial killer. Let's see, what
The
do they
Maniac
call-
of New York.
Yep. And then time passes and it jumps to 2020. Okay, so just last year. This lady's job, this is what I think is hilarious. This news lady, right? Her only thing is to talk about the weather, traffic, and the maniac.
Because the maniac now 4 years later has killed so many people.
So what's going on is this maniac is a mainstay in this city, and honestly, this to me feels like a retelling of like the Joker. If you know what I mean, if it wasn't in the Batman world, this feels like a Joker character, just this complete bedlam and mayhem that no one can do anything about.
I don't think it feels that way to me. I mean, I think this feels way less superhero and more
Good
like
point. Yeah,
90s detective thriller,
maybe that's what I meant. Like maybe like if you took him out of the superhero realm, you know what I mean?
Yeah, to me this feels like Seven. It feels like Kiss the Girls, you know what I mean? It feels like Sounds of the Lambs type of thing. Like it feels like a very intriguing murder mystery thriller. But I really think this is a benchmark comic for Aftershock. I really think this could be a star comic for Aftershock for sure.
You do.
I just think the art and the creation of this book is very understated. It's simple. The idea is very simple, but some of the best ideas out there are the most simple.
What I want to know is, I love the artwork.
Really? So I'm
yeah.
the only one who didn't?
You didn't
I
like
love
it?
the artwork.
What, it was too watercolory for you?
Yeah, and I don't like the colors that they use.
Very
and-
muted pastels.
Yeah, I like. There's just a lot about the art that I just didn't like. I didn't like the way that they did lighting and shadow.
I will agree. It didn't go so far as to instill like the vibe of Seven for me. The artwork definitely didn't, because it wasn't dark enough for that. But the story did. It's just kind of, I don't know.
The one chick really got on my nerves because the cop,
the lesbian cop.
I didn't. That's right. She is a lesbian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't,
Because
I wasn't
her
making
entire-
judgments.
Yeah, her entire personality seemed to me to be, I'm a cop. I'm a coppity cop.
So
Cop,
it was-
cop, cop. Don't you call me a snitch. I ain't no snitch. I'm a coppity cop. Cop, cop.
It was heavy handed.
I'm a coppy cop. Cop. Coppity cop. Cop. I got a
I'm
badge.
turning his microphone down.
I'm a copper. Coppity cop. Cop.
You're still catching in my mic.
I know. That's why I was saying it louder.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So you felt like she was. It was
I felt she was a little
cutter,
one-dimensional.
Cookie cutter, one dimensional. Like we've got this like, and I thought they like kind of overdid it. Like,
the scene where they're at the diner and, hey, you want to stop smoking? It's illegal.
Yep.
Who's going to arrest me? Me.
Yep. Exactly. That was a little. The dialogue was a little cheesy.
I did think there were some of the dialogue that I found was a little bit. I felt was a little cheesy. JP is looking angry.
No, not at all. I really like this book so much. I just, like I said, your opinion about the art, I think it's just, it's understated and it's lightly toned because the subject matter is so heavy. I mean, it's about a mass murderer that is literally just having his will with the city and putting everybody in fear, and everybody had to change their lifestyle because of it. There's even one point where that leather lady says, and update to, she's doing traffic updates, and she's like, well, this place is backed up, so if you're thinking about heading into work, you might want to call in sick because if there's a traffic jam, that means the maniac might show up and fucking kill you. So you might want to call into work.
So
it's just like people have like learned to accept this as like just a part of their lives, and it's just like, that's scary to me.
Yeah.
That it's been so normalized that people are just like, well, I better look out for the maniacs today. You know what I mean? Like it's just like
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I felt like was this could have definitely been the Joker movie that just came out, or not just came out.
The
but
Joaquin Phoenix one.
This could have been like a sequel to that. Like what happens when he left that studio? And I definitely felt like there's no superhero vibe. I agree with that. But it's creepy. I really like the premise of it, like that this has just been an ongoing rampant problem, like it's cockroaches or something.
The thing that I didn't get though is it's been such a problem and so many people have died. They're not giving it any resources. Like they make a big point about how the new person in charge of the case is basically not given resources.
Yeah. And that's really dumb that it's like, I don't know.
Like, and the few resources she has as far as people go are so jaded at this point because of false alarms and that sort of thing that anytime she tries to do anything, they're like, no, it's a false alarm. Fuck you.
Yep.
Just because you're in charge doesn't mean you're in charge.
Yeah.
I think that's also just a statement on how statehood is, though, and how selfish we are as people when it comes down to tragedy, when it comes down to not in my backyard, when it comes down to not my monkey, not my circus type of thing.
Yep.
It's all centered in New York. It's not happening anywhere else. So that's the reason they're not getting resources is because, well, it's New York's problem. Deal with it. You know, we're out wherever we are. We don't have this crazy shit. You know, take your trash and deal with it. You know, kind of. It's how we as America almost treat some of these other countries. And it's kind of, I think, a little bit of an understated.
It kind of reminded me of Hurricane Katrina, you know, like when nobody would go to Louisiana's aid.
Right.
And George Bush ignored it for how long?
Yeah.
It's not my monkey, not my circus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
I was
their problem, deal with
actually
it.
thinking of the recent coup. I forgot what country it was in for a second.
Oh, you mean our country? Ours. It was the U.S.
There was a successful military coup.
I thought you were talking about these D-bags that stormed our Capitol thinking they could overturn an election.
Yeah.
No, it's nothing but whatever.
But I really enjoyed this book. I think for me, it was just one of those things that was a surprise. Like I saw the artwork and it was previewed in another Aftershock book, which I hated. It was an Aftershock book. I can't even remember what the hell it was called, but I read it and it was just so stupid. And I was just like, this is the dumbest thing I've read in a long time. And then they had a 2-page preview for this. And I'm like, this looks really good. And then I got it this week.
One of the preview guys that I like, he had brought up Maniac of New York, and I thought that was a pretty cool title for it. I like serial killer stuff a lot. I like mysteries, and I do like this artwork in the fact that, like you said, JP, it's a balance from the dark story to the more placid tones of the colors. You know.
I think that keeps the reader from getting too depressed because I mean it is
it's dark.
The dude's killed over 400 people, so it's like it's a very, very heavy subject matter. So I really think that's why the art is the way it is and drawn the way it is. I think that's a balance of the dark heaviness of the story and the lightness of the art.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I liked it. You really liked it, and TR did not like it. So I mean, we kind of have all threes here. So TR, what was bad for you? I mean, well, I didn't.
Art wise, I just realized the color palette that they used, I fucking hate.
Yeah, it's very Easter.
Yellow, orange, green,
and some blue, like in the It's got some blues, right? It's very.
I don't like the
it's not bold. It's soft. It's muted. It's pastel.
Yeah. And as far as,
but I think when you have those bloody scenes against that you see on those pages there, for me that's real visceral. I mean, it's like, whoa, we've been seeing this real.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at it here, like this panel, the shock on those people's faces. Yeah, that's a really well done panel.
Yeah,
it's just there are so many that I don't like how they were done.
Oh, sure.
I don't like the lighting in a lot of it. I don't like how they did shadow and light.
It does feel like it could be like a newspaper strip, like style artwork too. Like
a little bit.
You know, like not Rex Morgan, but like some of the other ones that were. I don't read newspaper strips anymore, but
no, I mean,
do they even come out?
Who reads the newspaper?
I mean, in
anymore?
the Sunday papers, there's still comics.
No
I'm
insult
sure
intended.
I'm sure there's still a funny section. There has to be.
Yeah. Anyway, so scale of 1 to 10, I would give it a 7.5.
I'm giving a 9 just because of the world building there.
Yeah.
Also because there's some Easter eggs in the back of the book. Once you finish reading it, there's some completely made up, news strips about the killer. There's a kill map. So I mean, like, I threw myself into it and dove into it and read those and like looked at the details, and I felt like I was part of the mystery of like helping solve it with those excerpts in the back. I really like that addition because it's a really thoughtful thing to put into a comic with this broad of an idea. Giving that to the reader, and it's almost like here, follow along with the mystery and help us solve it, kind of thing. It was a lot of fun. I really liked it. And it was just a surprise for me. I had zero expectations going into it, and I thought it was really, really well done.
I like anything Aftershock puts out for like 2 or 3 issues, and then it gets bad. So if this one has a little staying power, I'll be excited. I'm gonna definitely keep reading it past issue 1. Hopefully it gets somewhere. Right? It didn't seem to go anywhere for me.
Well, I mean, for me, I did like when, the stuff that happens right at the end. I don't know if we're going to do spoilers or not.
Yeah, it's a review show.
Yeah.
There's spoilers.
So, I mean, basically right at the end, we get to see him, the maniac, going for another killing spree.
Yep.
And I mean, it was interesting to see that. And it's, okay, how is it that he hasn't been stopped? Like, I want to know a little bit more about that. Like, what's preventing the cops from straight up just shooting him in the fucking face?
Yeah.
Like, anytime someone with a mask like that shows up, hold them at gunpoint, and if they reach for something, kill them. Like, I guess...
After so many years, you think it would come to that.
And I mean, I guess if the mask was black, they would have killed him by now.
Whoa. Hey, this is New York.
I cut to JP when I said that joke because I knew his reaction would be disapproving.
Hey, but no, this is New York, not Minneapolis, okay?
Yeah. But
What?
No, that's a stand-up comedy thing. But don't forget to tip. I'm here all week.
Anyway, okay. You are you going to read issue 2, TR?
I don't know that I will.
You son of a bitch. No, I'm just kidding. You spend your own money on whatever you want. I'm gonna check out at least issue 2, and then because I'm obsessive compulsive, probably every issue after that.
There you go.
I think it's going to be a polarizing book no matter what, just because of the subject matter and then the way that the art is.
Yeah, I definitely think it was Polaroids. Yeah, a lot of Polaroids.
Wait, who has hemorrhoids?
Preparation H.
What is happening? For our,
I made everything derail.
So for our next book, there was a book.
Let me do a review real quick.
Yeah, you could do Deep Space Nine there.
Yeah, Deep Beyond. Deep Beyond. It's not a book about being on the sea. It's not about being on the high seas.
So that cover.
That's my review.
Okay. No.
Additionally, I will say this.
No, wait. So the the comic has a cool cover though. I really did think about picking it up because that cover. I like deep sea scary creature stories.
Yeah, it actually the cover.
Yes,
I am a fan of. As far as art goes,
there was like 5 different covers for it.
Yeah, there were a bunch of different covers.
So what was the hype on this book for 5 covers right out of the bat? Who wrote it?
Him. Some folk.
Yeah. Is it anyone worth mentioning?
Andolfo, Goy, Brocardo, and Nocenso.
Oh, sweet. Okay.
Mirka Andolfo, she's an Italian artist who recently she did Mercy. Nice. And then prior to Mercy, she did another book called, gosh, I can't remember what the name of it was, but that one was really good. She's a really gifted artist. Yeah, she does really well on characters, and especially female characters and animals. She's really, really awesome artist.
The coloring is really
this is her new book.
The coloring is really cool. I like that.
Yeah, this one, as far as the 3 books that we're going to talk about this week, I liked the art in this one the most. I liked the coloring on this one the most. And I even honestly thought the lettering on this one was better.
It's unique because it's...
And how do you catch a unique comic book? Unique up on it.
What the fuck is wrong?
How do you catch a tame comic book? Tame way. JP is nodding his head in approval.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, dude. I mean, you can write better jokes than that. That's terrible.
I know. I didn't want to though. I'm never gonna be a dad, but I do dad jokes.
I skipped this book just because I had such a huge stack. I actually had like 5, 6, 7 books this week, which was very rare for me to have. But
yeah, what was your pull list this week?
Well, I had Maniac in New York, and then I bought the 1 in 10 variant cover of it just because I loved it so much.
Wow.
And then I read Star Wars High Republic #2, Star Wars High Republic Adventures. I read Warhammer #4. So there was a lot of stuff.
Hey, the Star Wars stuff, is that good? The High Republic?
Yeah, I've been wondering a little about that.
See, the first issue I liked, the second issue I loved.
Okay, because I stopped on there was too many Star Wars series out. So I got when they first started coming around, right, that Kylo Ren series, I started picking them up, but then they just got too many series, and I was like, I didn't know what was going to be good and what was like the eh.
Well, I think for me, anything with Rilo Ken, I'm not a fan of.
Ken.
Well, here's the best thing about High Republic is there's a reason that Disney wants to create a sandbox that they can play in and make their own timeline. It takes place 200 years prior to the Republic as we know it in Episode 1, Episode 2, Episode 3.
So it's ancient Jedi.
It's a prequel. Where'd they get that idea?
This is when the Jedis pretty much were the shits. They were running the galaxy.
Yep.
They were the end all be all. But the first issue, there's nothing to compare it to, and that's why I liked it, because they're setting the bar, they're kind of setting the tone, and there's nothing like it to compare it to. It's not like, oh, this is like Phantom Menace. Oh, this is like New Hope. No, it's not like any of that. So you're introduced to a lot of new characters, a lot of new terminology that you've never heard before.
Yeah.
And you're not used to seeing Jedi just being as resourceful as they are in this book, because they have all the tools available to them. They have space stations and spaceships, and everybody's doing missions and collecting data and all this stuff and going and doing
so stuff. The Jedi, you feel like during this time are at a higher point in their access than where they're at with where Darth Vader start to rise.
In canon, the Jedi are fairly significantly weakened by Episode 1 because of something that Darth Plagueis and Darth Sidious had done together.
Yeah. And what sucks is those old novels that I loved are out of canon, and now
the
are there
Thrawn
new
trilogy and the Hand of Thrawn created. First of all, they created some of the best characters: Mara Jade, Grand Admiral Thrawn, and Admiral Pelion.
Yeah.
Those characters were so good that they have brought them into the new Disney canon. That's how, and they're talking about it with Mara Jade.
Yeah.
But that's how good these characters are, and that's why I was a little disappointed when they just threw it out for what I felt was inferior stories for the movies that came out. Now, I will say I'm excited about a lot of the Star Wars stuff that outside of the movies.
Are there? Yeah, for sure. The new shows are shaping up to be really cool.
And there's that one underrated scene in Rogue One where you get to see Darth Vader in the Bacta tank.
Yep, I like that. That was
with his little slave person.
That was a really cool. That was a really cool tip of the hat to the series, the regular series, not the the specials that Rogue One and whatnot.
And I mean, seeing him in that Bacta tank, that's the only time he can be free and be him.
Yes,
but he's got no limbs. He's straight up got no limbs, and he has to be in that Bacta tank because. Anyway, we're a comic book show.
Yeah, so they're worth it, right? Those.
The Stoned Republic.
Issue number 1 just kind of gets you a creak into the door of what they're trying to set up. Issue 2, though, was so stellar and so good and creates so much drama and so much personality with these new characters.
I'm gonna start getting
especially the lizard guy. I think his name is Master Skur.
Does he look like Bosch?
A little bit, but he's missing an arm already. He already has one. He's down one arm, so he fights.
Don't those grow back?
Yeah,
he is a lizard.
I think that's what it is. He's slowly growing it back.
Nice.
But there's a mystery involved in his character that you kind of see the beginning of. Maybe he's not a Jedi, or maybe he's starting to be like a Sith. But
Oh,
He's doing a
But-
little turn to the dark side of Reno.
because the
Who
first
would've
issue
called it?
ends with him, his apprentice, his Padawan, is accepted as a full Jedi Knight,
yeah.
and he goes to his room and like screams out in rage, and like you're just like, what? Why is he mad? And then that's how the first issue ends. The second issue picks up where they have to go and intercept some ship that's in distress, and then the ship has been all the crew's been like completely murdered, and then he goes ham on some assailant that's still in the ship,
Yeah.
and like takes his lightsaber and like chops him into like 50 pieces. Like he's like,
It's like, so it's a
aggressive.
full on like gore fest.
Well,
for
He
issue
had a
2.
Kylo Ren style temper tantrum, but instead of a
little-
flannel, it was a person.
Hey, I got a
a
question.
little bit, but it's different than Kylo, where he was like breaking computers and smashing stuff because he didn't get his way. This was all out aggression and hatred, which you don't see in Jedi. So it's concerning because you're reading this book and he's this master Jedi, where these younger Jedi knights are looking up to him, and now he's like a psycho, and
Right.
it's like, what the hell's wrong with this guy? So there's some really great stuff that happens in it, though. But Disney is slowly but surely trying to distance themselves from the Skywalker saga,
Yeah.
and distance themselves away from like all this stuff, because they want to create their own stuff. They want to create a place that they can do what they want to do, but still have a way to tie it all together in a nice formulaic timeline for people. You still have Yoda, because Yoda's around in this storyline.
Yeah.
But it's refreshing. It's nice. It's a breath of fresh air to the Star Wars universe, and I think it's some of that original content that you've read before.
Yep.
I know they threw a lot of that stuff out, but it has that same type of feeling and same type of creative vibe of those original extended universe books,
Yeah.
where it feels fresh.
So
I really loved issue number 2.
I'm gonna be starting picking it up when it comes out in trade, because like I said, it was hard to keep up in issues and all the series I wanted to read. But
Yeah,
JP,
I really think if you're a fan of Star Wars at all, I think you will be remiss if you don't start reading it. It's really good.
all right. So this we start putting in an ad now, JP. So
An ad.
an ad, yeah. So right here, we're gonna take.
We have a new
We're just gonna
partner.
We'll be right back. And we're back. So, JP, that was the break for our new sponsor. So,
What is this, an ad for ants?
no,
Yeah, see, for JP, like no time passed at all.
yeah, but
It was, we're going on break
living
and
now.
we're back.
yeah. All right. So, yeah, we were talking about Star Wars, and I'm gonna get into these Star Wars things as, like I said, as trade paperbacks, because I had started a number of the series about a year or so ago, but I just kind of got dropped off after I missed an issue of this one, and then I wasn't sure. What is your favorite time in Star Wars? Like, now we're in the span of like probably 1,000 years of stories, right?
Honestly, my favorite stories in Legends were the Thrawn trilogy and the Hand of Thrawn,
Yeah.
which were written by Timothy Zahn, both of them.
And so, yeah, Timothy Zahn.
It's 5 books total between.
He has written so many classic Star Wars books. Now,
and even non-Star Wars stuff. He's done some great non-Star Wars stuff. He's
Yeah.
just good.
where does the Thrawn stories take place?
It's after it's after Return of the Jedi.
Okay.
It's far enough after that it's not, the immediate results, the aftermath,
Yeah.
but it's not so long after that it's past the Yuzong Vong War.
Okay.
So it's like we get introduced to Mara Jade
Sure.
in that.
So,
And JP, as I recall, was saying he enjoyed that. It was either him or Brian at the shop.
Brian's a big fan of Thrawn. Me personally, if I had to pick like Star Wars stuff that is my favorite, is actually all the stuff that's in between these main storylines. I mean, there's plenty of room for loving the prequels and the storylines there, or the originals, or even the new ones. But I like all the stuff that happens in between that connects them. Like
Yeah.
Mandalorian is a perfect example of fitting a story in between the stuff that's happened. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Because you get great cameos, you get great stories, you get returns of beautiful and awesome characters like Boba Fett, and you get
Yep.
redemptions. You get stuff from like Star Wars Rebels, which started out as a kids show, but then became darker and darker as things went on. You get Darth Maul has great storylines there that were never told
Yeah.
Yeah,
before.
Darth Maul.
Crazy
He's always
great
been my
story for
favorite
Darth
as far as backstory. You know, he was raised as like in this Sith cult, and he got all these tattoos because of his like devotion to the religion.
Yeah.
You
Now
know,
this is Legends.
is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's Legends now. But
Yep.
Um,
Canon has it quite different.
it is shit. And then
But even the video games, I love how they like fill in stories, fill in gaps.
the
There
newest
was
game. Well, the newest game that I played was like the Fallen Jedi, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Jedi Fallen Order, yeah.
Fallen
Yeah.
Order, and it was too short. I mean, I
yes,
finished it
it
quick.
was way too short.
I finished it quick.
It was
The whole point
definitely
of it
short,
is you're
but-
supposed to go back to those worlds. Like there's all the
Yeah.
enticement, but that's such a cheap ass ploy.
Yes,
And I don't care about completion for those type of things.
no,
Like,
but the
oh, I have to get every possible medal because that's
So
how I
what?
have fun. Is
But
doing
you know what?
tedious,
The Batman-
mindless, senseless pounding on the table now.
But you know,
But
the
that-
Batman,
that is-
the Arkham games and the Zelda games do that, but they can do it with a longer storyline and do well. So I
yeah,
don't,
and I care about that more for some reason.
I care about the storyline more than the extras,
yeah,
for sure.
for sure.
Personally, to me though, that was a great Star Wars game, and it was also a great Star Wars story. I mean, even
It
though
Yeah,
was,
it was
yes,
great,
yes,
but
yes.
it was
Still
just so short. It
Yeah.
was so
Agreed. Everything else about it, I loved it. I loved that the
graphics were
the
great.
graphics. They wanted the character to look like the voice actor, and it did.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked just
Oh, yeah.
like that kid. But anyway, so
Back to
pick
comic
up
book.
some Star Wars stuff. Ooh, what's that? Oh, there he is. There he is.
Oh, look at that.
Right.
Cal
it's
Kestis.
my Cal Kestis collection.
Nice.
I've got all the cards, Cal Kestis numbered cards, it's all the variant cards
So-
except for the 101.
So he was like he was like a Padawan when this all went down, right? And
Yeah,
then-
so it's that this video game basically
Right
is a
after Anakin,
survivor of Order 66.
Order 66 just happened, and his master has been separated from him or killed. I can't remember.
Killed.
He was killed during Order 66.
Yep. Yeah, there it is. Cal Kestis. I really like him throughout the story. He's got a Luke Skywalker vibe where he's got to understand and grow with the Force throughout throughout this whole thing. So it's very Luke Skywalker to me. But
Well,
it was a good game.
I like the mechanic also where he's broken off from the Force because he's hiding. So he also has this emotional trauma from watching his master die. And he has this guilt of he could have tried to save him. So you're kind of disconnected from the Force. So you don't start with as many Force powers, and then you slowly gain them as he gains more confident and
Right. I like
in himself, and also in confidence in being a Jedi.
the story of the game was good. I
Which-
like the
yeah.
plot.
The mechanic wise, that was similar to Outcast.
Yeah.
Jedi Knight and Jedi Knight 2 Outcast
I should
with
play
Kyle
those.
Katarn.
Look out for 2022 because I've heard that they're looking to do a sequel to Fallen Order, and they're going to do a Fallen Order 2
Oh, nice.
in 2022.
2022. All right.
So
back
all
to
we gotta wait is a year at
a
least.
whole year.
Pretty much, yeah.
The next comic book I read, we got
Glad you told me about it because this is probably the last I'll hear about it. Right?
Fear Case. Dark Horse put out this comic book that
Which is they put out on the cheapest, shittiest paper with the cheapest, shittiest ink.
This ink
Look
is
at
ru-
this
this
shit.
ink has rubbed off.
It literally rubbed the F off. That white
I don't
spot
think-
is you can see my fingerprints in that, and it's on the back too. That's literally just from reading. And I'm wiping, and now there's ink on my thumb.
JP, his anger is palpable in here. Okay, so
I can taste it. Honestly, I think Dark Horse is in a little bit of dire straits. So
do you? I agree. My copy,
Yeah, I mean,
copy
they-
right
they
here
just-
is not as bad as TR's, but I can tell what he's talking about. The ink feels a little bit tacky on the
Yeah.
cover, and so that's just the physicalness of the comic book. The story. Did you
Literally,
Yeah.
you can see.
JP, did you read this?
Look at this.
no,
Look at that.
I passed on it.
Okay.
that. Look at that.
That's bad.
So Fear Case starts off with this.
The art is terrible. That's
Okay,
what it starts off
it's a
with. It
It's
starts
a
off-
CIA story, and these new spooks coming into the Secret Service, they are handed a case that is
about to be handed.
They're about to be handed a case that is about a case,
a literal case.
briefcase. Okay, so there's all this wordplay on case that's really stupid.
Yeah, they like the dialogue, the way it was written.
Yeah,
I think they were going for clever. I think that's what they were going for.
Okay, and this is really sad because Tyler Kint writes such great stories. What's that one we both really like, JP? The Grassroots or the Grass something?
Are we talking about Tyler Jenkins?
Oh, yeah, Tyler Jenkins is on here too as well.
Tyler and Hillary Jenkins.
Tyler Jenkins. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, they did Grass Kings. Yeah, Grass Kings was really good.
Yeah, Matt Kint was on it with him too, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, so it's the same guy. So that was a great story. So I was really excited for this, but
and that's a crime story too. Yeah.
Yeah, and okay, so this basically is a case.
Gobshite. Oh, sorry.
Is a case that has been passed from detective to detective as a rite of passage as they come into the Secret Service.
Yeah,
no one has finished it.
Unsolvable, and if you spend more than a year on it, you go crazy.
Yeah, so it kind of has a Ring vibe that if you spend too much time with it, you're,
Yeah.
It's got a little. It's really. This would have been better art, JP, for Maniac of New York, I think.
I think it was similar art to the Maniac of New York.
It's darker though.
See, and I think Maniac of New York gave me Grass King's vibe.
It did, yeah. I liked it. Yeah. Well, this is by the actual Grass King's artist, so
right.
Yeah, and so, but it's darker than Maniac of New York. But okay, JP, the dialogue is so bad. I have never read. Anything as simplistic as, see Dick play, see Jane play. It's that bad.
I don't want to be a dick, but the thing is, the layout of the story, the way that they jumped around, so they had to get you hooked on stuff. So that kind of, I think, forced awkward dialogue.
Yeah.
But there was some interesting dialogue that was clunky and expositional.
Clunky at best.
Yeah.
But what it is,
like the whole thing about the goddamn coffee, that took up 2 fucking pages.
Thank you. It's all about
that took up 3 pages. There's this whole thing about
the intro to
man,
the story.
I like coffee that's expensive. Well, you're stupid for liking coffee that's expensive.
Yeah,
it has nothing to do with fuck all.
It's the 2 guys that are they have to give up the case because their year is coming to an end.
They have 3 weeks left.
And so the beginning of the story is these 2 talking about their like of coffee or dislike of coffee.
Yep.
And it lasts, like TR said, 2.5 pages. And then when they finally go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. That sounds like an homage or an inspiration from like a Quentin Tarantino film, because Quentin Tarantino does long excerpts of bullshit, but the way that Quentin Tarantino does it is with style, and all the action is in his dialogue and the way it's delivered. That it just doesn't come through in comic. It just
thank you. This does feel like they're trying to be Quentin Tarantino in a comic book that's bad. Yours is really bad. You should quit intentionally wiping the ink off now.
I can't help it. It's
Stop touching your black thing.
Stop touching. God, put it in the fucking bag and call it a day. Or go buy a new copy.
I'm not paying more money for another one of these.
You didn't like it that much?
It had a vibe.
I'm gonna buy issue 2.
I'm gonna peek in on the baby real quick.
Right.
The monitor's not.
So for our listeners, I'm gonna buy issue 2 because I am intrigued as to
now
what
that JP's gone, we can say what we really feel.
I'm going to show this to the camera. This has me intrigued. There is a mom in a pool with a butcher knife, right? Blood everywhere. Sorry.
And the story is very much like an urban myth that the CIA, FBI, NSA, Secret Service, whatever, discovers is real. It's very much that type of story.
Yeah.
And it's got the aspects of it where you find out that this case that's about a case that's it looks like it's prehistoric or some shit.
But that's only in that one frame, so it was a little confusing when you talk about clunky. They show this like hand, like a kid drawing,
and that was the best drawn frame, I thought.
And so it's a kid's drawing of what you would think of as the Ark of the Covenant.
Yeah,
and instead of the Covenant, it's the case.
Yeah.
And I don't know why it was thrown in there, because then later we find out that this thing is really probably about World War II age.
Yeah, that's what the people in the Secret Service are saying. But as we're going, we discover like, oh shit, this person had the case. Like we're getting closer and closer to getting to the case. And I wanted to love this story, but the way it was set up.
Okay, like, so
it cuts to this.
Thank you.
And then it cuts to, as soon as I start giving a fuck again, it cuts to this.
Not only that,
and
but
then as soon as I give a fuck, it cuts to this.
But when it cut to the home where they the case was seen being handed off in this neighborhood.
Yeah.
And then they go to the exact house that it was at within, however much they missed it by whatever.
Yeah.
But they
missed it by that much.
So they heard, in what we know as the reader, is that they got a tip. The case was handed off in a certain neighborhood. They go to that neighborhood and they knock on the exact door of the house where that case had been.
Yeah. And like there's
it's
this
just
mythology
bad writing.
Yeah, major spoilers. The thing that was kind of cool is the mythology behind the case is it is like a ring or like a chain letter type thing.
Yeah, it's a chain letter, but through a briefcase.
A briefcase. Like, so the rules are you have to give it to someone you hate, otherwise it goes to the person you love the most.
Yeah, and then
you have 3 days to give it to the person you hate the most.
So what we find out at the end is that the last person with the case did not get rid of it in time.
He got killed by his wife who didn't know what happened. Yeah, like he gets disemboweled. But the thing is, the art, I thought, because I flipped through it, so I was getting tired of it in the early pages.
Yeah.
So I flipped ahead.
Yeah.
And I saw that, and I thought, oh my God, the detective got killed?
Yep.
Because the art, it looked like the same guy.
Yeah.
There's like,
that would have been cool.
I genuinely thought that the detective got killed because it looks just like him. There's so little difference in the characters' faces.
Yeah, I know. So
yeah, I'm glad I passed on.
So
no, you gotta get it, man.
Here's the thing, I really like the premise. Like, I've seen The Ring, and I've seen chain letter horror stories and that kind of stuff. And this seems to be like it would be a cool idea, especially when you saw the guy that was disemboweled. That was finally like, I'm like, sweet.
Yeah, but I mean, genuinely, look at
here. Let's show your camera here.
Yeah. We'll do it.
But yeah,
okay, here.
It's got some cool.
We're gonna do it.
It's got some cool artwork, and then in that scene, I like it.
It's there. That's a very sexy
pose.
Yes. No.
Visceral.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti.
Yeah.
Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
That's a very Silence of the Lambs panel.
But the writing was bad.
It was just clunky, I think. Like, and this is me, again, I can't do any better. So
yeah. All right. So anyway, that was that Fear Case. TR, what would you give it?
I actually did have a thing where I rated it.
You rated it on a scale
6.
Okay,
6 out of 10.
6 out of 10. That high?
I was being nice.
That's kind of high,
dude.
It's over the.
We're rereading the same book.
The thing is, I like the concept behind it.
Yes, exactly. But if you're a comic book writer, you have to be a good writer. And when you can't tell a story that, I mean, this is issue number 1. People should be able to flow through the story, and like you said, it was choppy and clunky.
Yeah.
And even dialogue between characters was like overdone, where they refer to each other's first name like every time. It would be like each time I go, "What do you think about that, TR?"
Yeah, like every time you say anything, you say my name, Tyler.
Right, TR.
Like JP, I think that'd be really uncomfortable, don't you, JP?
Yeah, I think so too, JP. That was
TR really like. I don't have a problem with it, Tyler TR.
Yeah, that's exactly what the comic book was like. And now mine is also rubbing away. I just noticed that I don't think that was there before. It's just
like
it's deteriorating in our hands.
You can genuinely see that on my camera.
God damn it, Dark Horse.
Here on Tyler's camera.
What? I don't understand. So JP,
Hey, look, it's like Tyler has a brother.
Tyler has a brother. JP,
that's a joke about your lack of hair, and I'm better than that, and you deserve better than that, and I apologize unreservedly.
you know, those of us that are follically challenged don't appreciate it.
Here's
Doesn't
you know
count
why
if you
you're
don't say his name afterwards.
yeah, Tyler. You know why you're follically challenged is because you have an overabundance of testosterone.
That is very true, TR. Thank you. JP, did you have anything? No. So Fear Case, I don't know. I'll probably
I ain't
page
getting it.
through it again, but I'm
Oh, really?
I opened it and flipped through it, and then I was like, no. Because like I said, I just had a lot of other books. I had Firepower this week too, which I'm really loving.
Yeah.
One.
How is that? I didn't even get started on the ground floor with that.
Well,
Robert Kirkman, right?
Yeah, it's Kirkman. So you're talking about bad writing to some of the best writing you can get. Robert Kirkman has such a way with making comic words and comic conversations flow for the reader so well.
Yeah.
Firepower is no slouch on that. And it's just a fun book. It really is just a fun book. So
what's the premise? Because I know very little about it. I was gonna do it in trade.
Firepower is basically it's kind of like Iron Fist a little bit, just because this guy goes to this school where he's trained in the mystical arts of this certain clan.
Right.
And they
you said Iron Fist. I heard Iron Skies. I'm genuinely serious.
Not like Iron Sky. But he goes and then he falls in love with one of his other classmates. She ends up dying in a mysterious way. He ends up being blamed for it, so he leaves the school to go to America, where he finds a new love and a regular life away from all this crazy mystical ninja
Hollywood
martial arts
bullshit
nonsense.
Right.
But he's in hiding, just being a regular old dude, and then his past starts to come back to him, where the people from the school are hunting him down, saying, "You need to come back. You need to come back." So that's kind of where it jumps from the drama. He's got a family now. He's got 2 kids, a wife who's a cop, and he's just trying to lead this normal, healthy life without any of this mystical drama in his life, and it just keeps coming back. So,
do you think?
So it's just been a really fun thrill ride. Especially if you're into martial arts movies, especially if you're into characters like Iron Fist and Shang-Chi. So it really has some some of those old school Jackie Chan, Bruce Lee actioneer vibes.
TR's
so
making
really
fun of your face,
it's fun.
I guess.
No, I was doing a reaction shot of myself and I was overdoing it. I would,
Sorry.
But I'm an old school martial arts fan, and it really has those vibes, but just updated.
So
it's not like tongue-in-cheek,
Robert Kirkman, since Walking Dead ended, Robert Kirkman has quietly been making some kick-ass comic books. Die is Quentin Tarantino in comic books, but done well.
Yeah.
And then I'm reading Oblivion Song, which couldn't be a more awesome world building story. And then you're reading Firestorm or Firepower. Sounds like that is just as big. So those that think Robert Kirkman is gone because Walking Dead is over, you definitely got to check out some of these other stories.
Yeah.
Well, he's quietly just gone to the back seat, and I think that's good for him. I think it's made him less jaded to his stories, because unfortunately, Walking Dead, he became jaded to it after doing it for so long and extending it for longer than he wanted to, just because of the juggernaut that it was.
Because of the money.
And now he's doing passion projects like, I really want to write this like martial arts story, and it's like, I want to write this like Two Worlds alien story. I want to write this crazy zany, just fucking balls to the wall bloody action comic, and he can do it now. He has a free time to do it, and he's just not holding back from what he wants to do rather than what he's forced to do.
I think those are his only 3 stories right now, but I mean, those that aren't familiar, I mean, he did Invincible for how long? I mean, the superhero story, and then before that it was Battle Pope, right? Did you ever read that? That was a good. Did you ever read that, TR?
I didn't.
You have to.
I love just hearing Battle Pope.
Okay, so it's raunchy, sexual stuff dealing with the Pope, and it's definitely
that makes me uncomfortable.
It's very like dark humor. It's like around the Catholic Church.
It's like Preacher without the message.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have to read this.
Speaking of Garth Ennis, did you guys ever like A Walk Through Hell?
I've never read that.
Because the artist on that would have been perfect for Maniac of New York. I can't think of who it was, but yeah. Anyway,
I wanted to like Fear Case more.
I did too. I really, really wanted to like it. The spec show that I watched, kind of made it sound like it was going to be good, and I feel let down. But that's the way it goes. Hey, what the heck is going on with Something is Killing the Children? I saw online that they were really blowing up, and I have the first 6 issues. I listed them all for $50 each yesterday, and I've sold I've gotten offers on 3 of them already.
I think there's just a big hype train on it. There's a lot of people thinking that it's going to be a show or a movie.
Yeah,
because
I didn't enjoy the story, so after issue 6 I stopped. But
there's tons of hype about it being bought up by somebody, or being optioned. So, and dude, I mean, the story's there, and the idea is solid, and I do think that it will be picked up. But I do believe that's a lot of hype train.
Right. Because I've got the Virgin cover, the Virgin variant cover where she's got the teeth mask on,
Yeah.
And I've had 2 of them because you guys had them for the longest time. The first one, it was on fire. I sold it, but you guys still had a pile of them. So I bought another one, and I just sold it yesterday within minutes of listing it. I'm going, what the heck is wrong with... I don't even like this series. Why does everyone...
That means you underpriced it, but hey, you made money, right?
What's that? I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said that if you sold it within minutes, that means you underpriced it. But
No.
Money, right?
No. I didn't mean... I shouldn't have said price, sold it. I got a bid on it. So it's at 50.
Okay.
It's at 50 right now, is where I started.
It'll probably go for $100.
Probably.
Damn, son.
Yeah, all the first 6 issues that I have all are going for between $50 and $100.
That's crazy.
Right. Yeah. So I've listed them all, and I've gotten bids on 3 of them so far. So I'm like, hey, I don't even like the series. I stuck with it for the first 5, and then was like, if the next one's not good, I'm axing it. And I just couldn't stick with it.
I think it was just one of those stories where the idea was super sound and super solid, and you got off to such a 0 to 60 start.
Right.
But then when the book kept going issue and asking more questions and giving answers, that's when as a reader you get tired of that.
It was like Lost, but in a comic book.
God. Oh God, that sounds so terrible.
Anyway, so guys, before we get out of here,
why would you even bring that up?
I wanted us to end on a low note. So anything going on for us lately, TR? Have you been talking to any creators that you want to interview?
God, that show bummed me out.
Sorry. All right, so get out to Facebook. Check us out on Facebook. I'm on there all the time being ridiculous. And then check out Twitter. TR is running the shit out of our Twitter.
Yeah.
You are running our Facebook. Not Facebook. I just said that one. Yeah. YouTube. Those of us that are watching us on YouTube, you can thank TR for that. If you're listening to us on a podcast, that's me. And if you're hearing his lovely golden voice, that is JP Jones. Are you waving goodbye to us? Were you waving goodbye to us?
No, I was just waving to the people on YouTube.
Oh, nice. Yep. So those on checking out us on YouTube, I'm sorry, this is actually how we look.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do about it.
What are you gonna do?
I'm not sorry.
I'm not sorry. That's why he's the pretty boy of comics, ladies and gentlemen. And we bid you guys good night.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
See you later.
Later.
That show was such a piece of crap.